Hello everyone, welcome back to Chemically Bonded. Let's go ahead and continue. Tranquility greets me as I stumble upon the classroom in a state of almost pure silence. It's early, sure, but knowing my lack of empathy towards being here, it's a surprise to find the room almost empty. Without the science club, moreover, if it wasn't for Kyoko, I wouldn't be able to find the will to arrive at class this far in advance. Despite being marginally earlier than normal, still enough for a change for it to be noticeable. It has a clear effect on my actions. Culprit herself, of course, is one of the only other people to be present in this sparse morning environment.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kyoko. That chirpy expression is enough to make me smile in accord. Think that we've gotten this used to each other in so little time is a funny fact in itself. Given that, thinking back on my actions from yesterday really puts the scene into perspective. Fine, if it's not what I think, you must have had a reason to stop me like this.
I'm glad you understand.
Mulling over it, the feeling of guilt still resides within me as Kyoko stands before me with an ever-so carefree smile. It's not as if it was an easy decision, but ultimately finding out about their past is something I just can't help being interested in. It might be rude, it might cause trouble, but not hearing things from Naomi's perspective would just be ignoring the problem at hand. I wouldn't be giving her a chance. Then again, spending time with Kyoko is fun enough for me to still feel uneasy about it, despite the events of the last club meeting. No matter what I do, I can't get her image out of my mind. I guess all guys are the same in the end.
Hey, what are you thinking about?
Nothing.
It just looked like you were zoning out. Come on, sit down.
It's probably best if I don't think about it. Leaving with nothing less than a slight wave, responds to another warm smile as I make my way over towards my desk. The level of classes is a good enough break to think over my situation with Kyoko and Naomi. I've made my decision. Sitting down and stretching, a selection of the morning's conversations make their way to my ears. I'd assume it'd be like this if I sat behind Kyoko.
Hear what? Apparently, we have a new economics teacher.
The only reason why we even need to study economics is because of the business-oriented country. It's not as if I aspired to be an investor. I'm happy enough to going about my life without any particular sense of direction. Being at school is enough as it is. Things like this make me wonder what Kyoko plans to do with her own life.
Really? I wonder what they're like.
Time drags forward as the class waits around for the new teacher. Perhaps they're just nervous about teaching a new class, but then again, it is their job. Soon enough, a suited man makes his way into the class with a rather lax, but albeit still firm expression. This must be our new teacher by the looks of it. I'd be pretty concerned the school had let a stranger make it this far into the school.
Hello, class. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves this morning. Unlike your other teachers, I aim to actually teach you something, even if you aren't that interested.
He looks over at one of my classmates at the front of the room, sprawled over his desk for a quick nap. I know it's early, and economics isn't really that interesting. It's still worth paying attention. If I study hard enough, one day I might become the Kyoko of economics. Turning to face the board, the new teacher grabs a stick of chalk from the desk to scrawl his name on the board. Being known as the teacher isn't in his best interests. Even teachers have to introduce themselves.
You can call me Mr. Kabir, and I trust that you all will.
He must have heard what we called Mr. Yamamoto, something along the lines of hermit crab. we are pretty shitty students.
Turn your textbooks to page 15. We'll get started with some questions.
Hopefully I don't get picked. It might not be along the lines of knowing the structure of mitochondrion, but I still don't feel like answering. Haphazardly flicking through the pages of my book, I noticed Mr. Kabir manning his eyes across a list in the class. He doesn't know us, so he must be choosing someone at random from the roster. Please don't call me. I don't want to do this gag again.
Ishikawa, answer the question at the bottom of the page.
Me? Sure.
You're the only Ishikawa in this class. Springing from her seat with a smile on her face, Kyoko scans the book before her to find the question set upon her.
In a free market, prices adjust to reconcile scarcity and desires.
Kiko's response, a chirpy and cute proclamation of something so mundane, brings a smile to my face. My economics class can't be this cute.
That's right. Your previous teacher must have taught you well.
Or more likely it's Kyoko. Either way, he doesn't seem like a bad guy. I might not enjoy economics, but I don't think I'll hate his lessons. Class quickly reaches an end after the lunch bell chimes throughout the room. Having class be this long is pretty unusual, but in the end some of it was pretty interesting. Lethargy spans across the room as those around me begin packing their bags, ready to leave for lunch.
Remember, class, sometimes in life we have to make tough decisions. Investing in stocks isn't easy. Trust me.
Sounds like he's had experience. Right now I too face a pretty rough decision. I'm still rather uneasy about the choice I made yesterday. Siding with Naomi wasn't easy, but the thought of leaving Kyoku behind still bugs me. Maybe I should ask him for advice. People funnel out of the class one by one as I approach Mr. Kabir's desk, making sure to check if Kyoko's left too. Surprisingly, she has, and I thought she would just have stayed behind, but she does have her own life after all. Mr. Kabir glances toward me as I now confront him, the two of us alone in the classroom. Sir, I had a question.
Ask ahead, but please keep it brief. I have to leave soon.
Okay. I was thinking about what you said about decisions.
Yes, decisions can be tough.
I've made a decision, but I'm not sure if I should go back on it. I can't help but be vague. You probably wouldn't be interested in what's going on with Kyoko and Naomi, but asking for his advice on it might prove to be useful.
I think you should just go with your gut. It might sound stupid, but if there's something inside you telling you what to do, listen to it.
That kinda makes sense. Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. I hope you enjoyed today's class.
Not necessarily. It wasn't that bad. Speaking with them too has given me a little sense of my situation as well. Mr. Kabir goes back to sorting the papers on his desk as I make my way into the corridor to head out to lunch, despite being pretty late now. In the end, I'll have to come to a decision eventually. The corridor is empty as I trace my way down it to have lunch in the slither of time left. I should have time to get a small bite to eat. Afternoon classes come to end rather quickly, presenting me with the opportune moment of making my final choice. Either I go with Kyoko now to a science club, or come up with an excuse so I can trundle off with Naomi to hear what she has to say. As seats around become increasingly vacant, I too raise from my seat, ready to make my decision. At the end of it, I can't help but want to listen to what Naomi has to say. Even if we haven't been on great terms with each other, what with the strangling, to approach me as she did, it must be important to her. Going with Naomi will probably end up being the better decision, hopefully. The issue of her relationship with Kyoko has bugged me since I met her. Understanding more about them both surely can't be a bad thing. There must be a reason behind Naomi's actions, and I want to know what they are. Step by step, I make my way towards the front of class, towards Kyoko's desk. Now is a better time than ever to tell her I won't be coming to science club.
Hey, are you ready?
The face before me is a hard one to turn down, an almost blissful smile, one from the heart. Having known her efforts to find the science club, leaving her alone like this hurts. But it's the decision I've made. Time to come up with an excuse. Sorry, Kyoko. I don't think I can come today. My family needs me at home. As expected, her exuberant smile fades away before me as the meaning behind me words quickly reaches her. Oh, behind my words, whoopsies.
You won't be coming. That's okay. There's always tomorrow.
There is, but seeing her like this isn't something that's exactly pleasing. Nevertheless, I made my choices. In the end, I'm doing this so I can understand her own feelings. It's apparent that Naomi just must have meant something to her. Whether it's good or bad, I'll just have to find out. I'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Oh, it's so painful.
Turning my back on her woeful voice, I head down the corridor in the direction I haven't been in a while this time. Towards the stairs. To leave. Before I make it, however, a dainty hand rests upon my shoulder.
Before you go, what's the atomic mass of palladium?
106.4. Responding with a smile, it appears that in the end, Kyoko trusts me enough to respect her interests. I'm still a member of the science club, nothing will ever change that.
See you tomorrow.
Welcomed by the crowded atmosphere of bustling students heading home, I track my own way towards the stairwells as a member of this mass. Nostalgia washing over me as I take each step, progressing further down the corridor. It wasn't long ago that such an action was routine, but after spending time with Kyoko, it's become an out-of-place feeling, particularly after making the choice to leave her. Arguing by 2 moments ago, her weakened face will no doubt stick in my mind as I go about finding Naomi. Recalling her words from yesterday, the best place to look would be in the schoolyard. At a time like this, however, I wouldn't say she'd be keen on being seen with me. Looking out through the narrow windows lining the corridor, the blue afternoon sky glares back the usual patterns of a world which keeps on spinning. Moving at 460 meters per second, at just a moment's notice.
Stop daydreaming and keep walking. You can stare at the sky when we get outside.
Pulled to the side, a familiar voice whispers into my ear before pushing me back on my own path. That felt nice. Her breath is warm.
Keep your perverted thoughts to yourself, idiot!
Walking ahead, her hair flows down her back, embracing her athletic figure. All I can do is follow her and look forward to being treated like dirt. Being the one who made this choice, the blame rests on myself. I hope it's worth hearing what she has to say. Tracing her path outside, my face is greeted by a breeze of fresh spring air as the blue sky above greets my vision. I can finally enjoy the sight like the sky fetishist I am.
What are you doing?
Inner monologue.
Just keep walking, weirdo.
Naomi returns to her position ahead as I clear my mind. Now I'm focusing on what's in front of me. To be this adamant about taking me with her, to talk to me about Kyoko, Naomi's own feelings must now be reaching out. She must have her reasons. Why am I not to give her a chance? From leading me around various paths on the school grounds, moving indoors and out without necessarily knowing why, Naomi turns herself around. Eyes directed towards me, she finally decides to stop. We're now back in the cafeteria. Things seem to have died down. What's with all that running about? Is the gym closed today or something?
Shut up! I just don't want to be seen talking to you. The next best thing is to have you chase me around like all the other creeps I have to deal with.
Her attitude might be sharp, but I can't help but feel a little bad for her. Nonetheless, it still doesn't change the fact that she's still going to be seen with me. You wanted to talk, right?
Yeah, but I don't want people to know about it. They'd think there's something up between us.
Talk about paranoid. Why didn't you just call me or something beforehand to tell me where to meet you? It's like the venture of walking around the school.
I'd need your number for that, stupid. Of course you'd want it. Everyone does.
In spite of sounding like a narcissist, her statement is believable. Most guys and a good minority of girls would be after it. That's the life of track captain, the popular girl Naomi Sato.
Fine, have it. You'll need it anyway. Give me your phone. I'm not going to do anything with it.
Trusting her words, my phone goes from my hands to hers as she taps away at its screen. Can't say why I'd need her number, but at least I can brag about it in class. Scratch that. I'd be killed if people found out about it. By both her fans and at her own mercy too. Tossing my phone back to me without care, I barely managed to catch it as Naomi stands before me with a complacent grin. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. It's better than what you'd get at the science club.
I didn't skip it just to have you torment me. Gonna tell me about your business with Kyoko or what?
I didn't skip my responsibilities as track captain to listen to your whining either. I'll tell you. We just need to find a better place to talk, that's all.
And how do you suppose we do that?
Fancy another walk? I've got a lot to say and I want to think it through before I tell you. There's nothing wrong with having a little fun while we're at it.
Turning on her heel, Naomi pirouettes around, rooting her way again on the path back outside the school. Before taking my first steps to join her, I'm audienced to her auburn hair swaying in the air as it catches a warm sun ray from the window. Playing along with her is what I have to do for her to speak up. I have no other choice but to follow her. Plenty of people would kill to be in my shoes. Putting up with it isn't what it's meant to be. Now that I'm here, her popularity is trivial. Maybe I can have fun if I put my mind to it.
Don't get so close to me!
Finding ourselves in a believably crowded train into the city, the two of us rock about in the carriage as we stand at its center together. Discovering such a busy train isn't too surprising. We did board during rush hour. Can't help it. You're the one who wants to take a train in the city. All I want to do was talk about Kyoko.
We'll get to that. Just keep your mouth shut. I don't want to be associated with you.
We're wearing the same uniform. You're talking to me, and you keep looking at me. What do you expect people to think?
I wasn't looking at you.
But you were looking at me. A tsundere has been sighted in the area. Please seek shelter now. Oh dear. Stop being such a tsundere. Her words and actions, as usual, are rather spiteful. The only reason I agreed to join her was due to her billowing, but it seems like she'd prefer to save that for a later date and drag me around town instead. Since leaving the school grounds, Naomi's had plenty of opportune moments to release her pent-up aggression. Never in my life have I felt sympathy towards an out-of-order ticket machine. I believe it was along the lines of a stupid piece of shit.
To be one, I'd have to like you. Frankly, I don't. Stop being such a dweeb.
Ow. Anyway, why'd you need to take me this far out to talk about Kyoko? For what it's worth, a trip to the prefecture's capital isn't really needed to discuss what's at hand. Unless she's lying and showing me where she's buried the kind side of her personality, this could have easily been done back in school.
Maybe I just want a lackey to carry around my shopping. That, or because things like this aren't that easy to discuss. You'll know about it soon enough. Just let me think. Please.
In the striking change of personality, things go quiet as the two of us tune our ears to the brisk sounds of urban life. Other passengers chat away on the train, until Naomi decides to go back to her usual self.
You should consider yourself lucky to be able to spend time with me like this. A lot of guys would kill to be in your position.
But I'm not wearing any boots. No wait, she didn't say that. She's right though. If I'd gotten had to know her like I had, then I'd hope they'd risk and reconsider the position. Despite that, sadomasochism is pretty hip these days. If we're that popular, people are bound to notice us.
What?
Don't tell me she hasn't realized that. People might think we're in a relationship. For once, it's my turn to get a jab in at her.
Ew! You know what? You could just go. Get off at the next stop.
What happened to I don't want you to back out on this?
Right. Kyoko.
A sullen look returns to her face as she stares outwards towards the fast-approaching cityscape. There's one thing that's obvious, is that the two share some sort of connection. A past. Together. Sad expressions, like hers staring back towards me through the reflection on the glass, can only come from that sort of history. I'll hear it from her own mouth eventually.
Anyway, if you're worried about what people think of us, keep your distance.
Have you even had a boyfriend?
So what if I haven't? I bet you haven't had a girlfriend either.
For me to be hurt by her own flustered words, that's an accomplishment on her part. Anyway, we've arrived.
Good. The sooner I get away from you, the better.
So much for talking about Kyoko then. What are we doing in a cafe?
Stop complaining.
Having been dragged aimlessly around the city by Naomi, we come to reside in a modern cafe with drinks on the table before us. Without any amount of doubt, if anyone saw us now, they'd think we're a couple. Telling would likely piss her off, so I'll keep my thoughts to myself. Despite this, the aroma of sweet goods and coffee lingers through the air of the lavish brasserie. A pleasant backdrop set against the interesting situation I find myself in.
So, I guess I should probably tell you now, right?
Probably is an understatement through all the gallivanting we've done to get here. That being said, things are sweeter if you're willing to wait. Henceforth, after this moment, I'd have truly ingrained myself between the lives of these two girls. Joining the science club is far enough. Now hearing what Naomi has to say is bound to make me part of this. She won't want to tell me otherwise. She wouldn't need to.
Things weren't always like this between us.
You mean you weren't always bullying her?
I'm not bullying her. Please, just take this seriously and listen.
No, woman is an island. It's time to face her feelings. The water eyes which peered towards me complement the sudden expression cast upon her face. However ill-timed it may be, it's hard not to appreciate her beauty being this close to her. It's one of the reasons why she's such a star.
I just can't bear to face her normally. I want to be myself again.
Lifting her sunken eyes once again to face me, feelings of sympathy shoot through my now fast-paced heart. I feel sorry for her, all without knowing the trouble behind it. Listening to my prior suspicions, maybe it's safe to say that two girls had shared a past after all, one which hasn't ended so amicably. What exactly happened between you two?
You know, I'm the captain of the athletics team, right? It's not just track.
Athletics, track, what's the difference? She gave me a disgruntled glare before returning her eyes downwards. Looks like that's a topic for another time. Naomi's name spreads far and wide around the school, even if I wasn't too familiar with her from the get-go. I sure knew who she was. Everyone knows the athletics captain.
We lost a member not too long ago. An important one to me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
They're not dead, idiots. But maybe I am to her.
An insult veiled by dejection. It doesn't really do much other than illustrate her pains. By the sounds of it, various dramas have unfolded in the athletics team. All I want to know is what it has to do with her and Kyoko's relationship. What does that have to do with...
Kyoko. It was her. Surely you can't be that tense.
Kyoko? She was on the athletics team? She has the figure for it, even if I wasn't supposed to know. Can't really dispute the emotions clouding the situation. Naomi is sat across as truly recalling something she's kept to herself all this time. Her voice, her expression, her breathing, all of it sells a true sense of grief, but coming to terms with that, what the bond once was, is going to be hard for me, an outsider. Did she leave to pursue science? It's the only thing I can come up with, but so it places more blame on Kyoko than anything. She doesn't seem like the type of person to put herself before her clubmates.
No. She's always loved science. Even then. She was kicked out.
What? I thought you were the captain.
That doesn't mean I control the club. It's the school's team. It's managed by the sports board.
This is the first time I've heard of a sports board. But coming from Naomi, I can't feel I can doubt it. She knows a lot more about this than me. All I can really do is listen. Her teary eyes, glistening in the light, returned to their sunken states. This can't be easy for her. So, why was she kicked out? Naomi, visibly gulping tears in her emotions, speaks out softly, sharply contrasting the brash girl I've come to know her as. Watching her faint movements under artificial lights, it's her graceful fragility just painted before me. This is Naomi.
We cheated. We helped her win. There was a race at another school. So we messed up their kids. We just wanted to help her win. We really did. But they found out. We told them it wasn't her fault. They didn't believe us. She was banned from competition and kicked from our club after that.
It's a lot to take in within this small moment. Wait, being you and the other girls? The only response is a stifled nod from across the table. Naomi taking a moment to sense to breathe herself another mild sense of composure. There's only so much you can have in this situation. Can't say I don't feel pissed off at her actions. That was a pretty reckless thing to do, wasn't it? You're supposed to be her friend. Being irate at her is likely the least helpful thing in this situation. Inside me, the resentment I have can't be held back.
You think I don't know that? I was her friend! Her best friend! Now, it's nothing! You think I don't hate myself enough? I tried to apologize, but an apology isn't enough for something like that!
Soaked by tears, her reddened and soured cheeks shine feebly as she wipes her eyes dry with each hand. My own feelings of empathy can only just reside over my inner irritations. She suffered enough. It's clear to her what she'd done. Being close to Kyoko, Naomi's words do sting a sense of resentment, but the reality is that Kyoko has been just as affected. Her own emotions weren't ones of anger, but the mutual heaviness of heart, shared sadness in their broken bonds. So, why is it that you've been so mean to Kyoko? Why'd you want me away from her?
I wasn't mean to her. It was upsetting. Seeing her make a new friend. Seeing you.
Raising her damp eyes in my direction, a desolate look beams from her tears. She's jealous?
Kyoko wouldn't talk to me after the race. She wouldn't listen to my apologies, my pleas. But she became friends with you.
Rather than feel angry at her, between Kyoko and I in this way, all I can do is cast pity. Having lost a friend to be replaced by another surely must have hurt. I doubt I'd ever be on the same terms with Kyoko as Naomi seems to make out. But it doesn't change the fact that she still wants me to be with Kyoko. For them to be friends again.
I want you to help me.
Contrasting her prior resentment, Naomi speaks out passionately through her dejected state, treating me as an equal. Reaching out to me like this, I can't say she really hates me for being friends with Kyoko. Not if she wants me to help her. Help you what? You just said you were jealous of me.
I never said that. I just said that I was upset. I want you to change her opinion of me, so she'll talk again.
How am I supposed to do that? I wouldn't know. Neither do I know Naomi's true objective here. Then again, I'm really the only person that she can rely on. Kyoko doesn't speak to anyone else. I mean, I could try, but it won't be as easy as, hey, how about that Naomi girl? She's not going to be that talkative. Distinct from her usual attitude, talking to Kyoko about Naomi is the one thing taken away from her normal self. That bright, happy smile smitten by her own inner sufferings. Whether she's willing to become friends with Naomi again is a difficult question to answer. It's evident that she too feels pain over their situation, but uncovering her thoughts would prove to be quite a task. Naomi too, despite revealing all before me, would be likely to have the keys to Kyoko's past. I'm just the one at the gates.
I know. I just don't know what else to do. I'm sorry.
An apology. Coming from her, it sounds like heaven. But at the same time, the pain itches or hell rips through her every syllable. Here, I want to help her. Despite how she's treated me, despite her outward persona, Naomi's sensitivity not only shears her very heart, but mine too. After all, she was Kyoko's friend. I'll find a way. Even if it means taking Kyoko away from the science club, I'll do it. Returning gaze to me, her reflection stares back in her crystal blue eyes. I really do look like an idiot. Still, getting Kyoko to talk up will give me an idea of her feelings towards Naomi. It'll still be helpful. Can't say that's not worth doing.
You will? Thank you.
Smile. A warm one too. Seeing it on Naomi's face really reflects her true self, her inner beauty. She might have a little bite to her, but at the end of the day, I can't bring myself to hate her.
Anyway, finish up your coffee. If we stay here too long, people will see us.
You're still worried about that?
Of course I am. Just look at you.
Looking back at my own reflection in the window, all I can do is smile that she's back to her normal self. At least what I know her as. The insults might hurt, but at the end of the day, she wouldn't have asked for help if she hated me. She wouldn't have paid for my coffee either. Life breathes through the corridor as the day begins, marking the ever-moving world into the depths of my mind. Every day, the same thing happens. Arriving in class, watching everyone around me live their lives as I sit patiently waiting for the day to begin. Recently though, changes to my routine have shaped my own thoughts and opinions on the unhalted space around me. Set on a task to reshape the lives of two girls, to bring them together again. Maybe now the school life I've been waiting for all this time is about to be put into effect.
Hey,
Tapping my shoulder, Kyoko calls out to me from behind just a step in front as I turn my head. She sure has no qualms about personal space, but calling her out on it would be besides the point. It's her, woman to complain. Good morning, Kyoko.
good morning. You're coming to the science club today, right? You better not skip again.
After missing out yesterday, there's no doubt that I'm coming today. That, and I'd promised Naomi that I'd do my best to talk to her. Neither of them deserves to face the anguish of their severed bonds. They shouldn't have to look back at old memories. Why wouldn't I go?
Because you didn't come yesterday. But I'm happy.
Those feelings resonate through her very expression. Lips curled up into her signature smile, glossy as they meet the sunlight. There's that into class, knowing that she has these feelings, brews happiness in my soul too. To build this friendship with her, maybe it'll be easier to talk about Naomi. Yet again, class ends at the sound of the lunch bell, with people around withdrawing themselves from their seats to head off to get some grub. It's a tenacious routine, but something I can't help but join. I'm hungry too. The cafeteria, as usual, is brimming with the alleged social customs building the foundation of modern school life. Eating, chatting, the sorts. Me, someone who eats alone, doesn't fit the painting laid out ahead. A canvas of the Japanese youth. Times like these make me wonder exactly what does Kyoko gets up to at lunch. Spending time with her would probably be pretty enjoyable. I've never seen her eat lunch here. Perhaps in the end, asking her would be a good idea, particularly if I'm out to help Naomi. Heading to the vending machine, sunlight strikes my eyes from the panes across the room. Leaves bustling about on the now blooming trees. Spring has come fast. My hand, lifted towards the buttons on the machine, is quickly stopped by another, slender, smooth hand. A small note tucked inside its grip.
Take this and be quiet.
Sure. Sneaked up to my side, Naomi slips the thin piece of paper into my own grip, all the while avoiding to match her soft skin with mine. When giving her my phone before, I sure know she takes good care of herself.
I said be quiet!
Huffing, Naomi turns and walks away in spite of my existence. She really doesn't like being seen with me. Mashing the button for a soda, I let the note placed in my hand with the utmost of care, despite being from Naomi, a very careless girl. Assuming she means with Kyoko and not my own endeavors to keep track of my journey through life, she sure is impatient. We only discussed this yesterday. Nevertheless, the scrawling before me is soulful enough to show her feelings, just how much Kyoko means to her. If it wasn't for yesterday, I'd still see her as a bit of a bitch. Now though, I want to make her happy too. Drawing to an end, ends up detachment from the content of the class brings itself to fruition throughout the room. It'd be a stretch to say I'm part of this mass languor. Moreover, one of the ones who most wants to leave. Despite tasked by Naomi to track down Kyoko's past, Kyoko's feelings, enjoying the science club itself is just something I can't do. There doesn't need to be a reason for me to go.
Okay, class, make sure to finish writing up your notes. You all have a test next week. It'll be on economics too, so make sure to read up on Mr. Kabir's work.
Lethargically cleaning his desk, the teacher's own impatience to lead the class spreads like wildfire to his students around the room. It really is time to leave. Luckily for me, my day has only just started. Time to head to the club. Within the corridor resides a small little girl with a mischievous grin plastered on her face. I don't know what she's doing here. No wait, that's Kyoko.
Hey,
What's the matter?
you're thinking weird stuff, aren't you?
Hanging around her, I'm used to the feeling of being lost in thought. Admiring the energy within her heart, to want to mend that very beating soul, the situation now only just ratifies it. Nah, I'm just thinking about how much I want to go to the club.
Well, you didn't come yesterday, so you should be.
She's still upset about that.
Anyway, let's go.
Speeding to the end of our conversation, Kyoko twirls around to face direction in the science club, flicking her now down, flowing her hair through the air. I'm not sure when she undid her ponytail, or why. Journeying on our brisk walk to clubroom, I can't tell but feel the action in this routine. Despite only becoming a member this week, and albeit skipping the club too, I can only feel that we're getting used to each other. Inside the lab, as dusty as ever, warmth embraces us as we bask in the afternoon light. Kyuko's cheeks rosy as she stands, eyes out towards the window with a smile.
Isn't science beautiful?
That's a tree.
Biology is a science too.
The only memories I have of biology is giggling at the pictures of genitals in our middle school textbooks. Say what you will, but we have all done it. Still, Kyoko bows before me with her cheeks puffed out, probably due to lack of knowledge. It's ridiculously cute. Turning to sort out yet another experiment, Kyoko gets at it whilst I continue to watch nature flow past the window, beyond me. It's a hard concept to grasp, but the world itself truly flows without care, a river of repose. Life like life, all it comes down to is embracing the beauty laid out, manifest before our eyes. Rather than focus on the task set up upon me, I'd rather appreciate what I have here. Being able to spend time in Science Club with Kyoko.
There's something I need to ask you.
Times like this, they're only momentary. Oh, what is it? Voice unsteady, only paints the picture for what's about to come. Inside, I know she's thinking about the same thing. same person.
You were with her yesterday, weren't you? Naomi.
Masked in an untypical sadness, the happy and carefree face I'm so used to seeing looks towards me, tears welling up in her eyes. There's no point in denying now, but knowing she's this upset over my decision, I should have expected it. How'd you know?
The lab looks over the school entrance. You two were there yesterday. Together.
Even for that brief time we wandered around the school, Kyoko's dad still saw us. So much for I just don't want to be seen talking to you.
Has she been bothering you two?
Rather than chastise me for my actions, knowing how much Naomi's actions had hurt her, instead she brushes them aside. Kyoko opting to continue under presumption of Naomi's own actions against her.
I didn't want to be involved. She was a friend to me. But things have changed. I don't really want to get into it.
As if confirming Naomi's words, Kyoko's eyes swell with woe as her tears hang at their tipping point. Jitter still engrossed her by his movements as she looks onwards towards me, teeth biting her nails as her lips tremble against her face, nothing more than a frown. I don't want to see her like this. Kyoko. Their past, all evident in their own words, becoming clearer to me day by day. Both grow so heavily affected by the events which transpired between them. Seeing Kyoko so distraught, it makes it easier to understand Naomi's pain. Their pain. Wiping her eyes dry, clearing her sadness, Kyoko pulls a smile as she brings her hands to her chest to feign a recovery.
Don't worry, it's nothing.
It could be that she's caught into my own subdued aura, but she's trying her best to avoid talking about it. No matter what, they haven't gotten over what's happened, and I don't think Kyoko will be telling me anytime soon, despite Naomi's pleas. Still, seeing them both embraced by sorrow, it's hard not to want to help them. I want to make things right again. Story to both girls, in reality, by their own friendship. Naomi and the others didn't want Kyoko to lose a race. They were doing it to spite her. They weren't doing it to spite her. Whoopsies. No matter all the faults with her plan, there's nothing to cast doubt upon theirs and Naomi's feelings towards her. They cherished her. Maybe now it's clear exactly what I want to do at this school. Rather than help myself, I want to restore their bonds. This is my ambition. This is what'll make me happy.
Anyway, we should get to work on science.
Pushing the topic aside, Kyoko stands with her fists clenched tight with a not so believable, but still a cute smile. For now, ignoring the topic is ideally the best thing to do in this situation. I don't want to see her hurt any longer. However, ignoring my responsibilities isn't the solution to this problem. At some point, we're going to have to face it, together, as a trio. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. When it comes down to it, I'm just as much of a member of the science club as she is. More so, I'm her friend. Screened by the evening sunlight, the aura in the room has since become subdued as the two of us finish up cleaning Kyoko's experiment. Nothing to do a little titration. Kyoko ended up leaving the issues with Naomi behind her and quickly returned to her usual self. The Kyoko I know her as. Though there's a lot more about her I want to uncover.
That was fun.
It was, but I didn't really do much. In light of her past in Naomi, maybe just being here is really good enough for me. Learning more about them, getting to know them, I think it's something I want to do. The week itself has been long, coming to know this girl so well over the course of only 5 days. Still, there's a lot more behind the covers that needs to be addressed before we can move forward. The two of them, trapped by their own memories of one another. My place in this, despite being unclear, will soon be revealed as the two of them begin to open their hearts, as soon as I can heal their bonds.
It's okay. Really.
But I want to at least contribute. Come on. With a signature smile, a cute and poised curling of her lips, Kyoko looks down at me from ahead. If there's one thing I can say, it's that I truly am glad I've gotten to know her.
For me, just you being here is enough. I thought you were here to join this side.